All right.
Good day. Thank
Good
you for
day.
letting us be part of your life, for
Hmm.
sharing some of your time with us. It's Curt and Jen in the Morning Podcast. Curt is live from Florida,
Florida.
and
Yeah, that sounds so exciting, doesn't it?
I am in the comfort of my own home with my
Let me
Christmas
ask real
tree in
quick.
the back.
What about the rain? Did the rain let up at all yesterday?
Yeah, yes. It was funny when we recorded our show yesterday, Curt. It was torrential downpour and so windy. And
Right.
then later in the morning, at least in Cedar Woolley, it was beautiful. Like the sun was coming out, blue sky, but it's just schizophrenic weather right now.
Fantastic. Not
Yeah.
really. Fantastic.
What's coming up in the show?
Well, hang on. We've got a bunch of stuff. Let me see. We're going to find out how popular eggnog is amongst holiday drinks. It may not be where you think it is. It wasn't for me. I was like, really? Also, we have it. This is a pretty cool thing. This is in Phoenix, but they have done something with the prices of concessions at the Phoenix Sun games, which I hope will end up happening here in Seattle as well.
Okay.
Concessions are a little bit spendy when you get to these games, right? The
Yeah.
Weeknd has some new stuff coming up in the next year that you might want to know about. And finally, not finally, the Christmas movie you should watch based on your Zodiac sign. And both Jen and we are Virgos, so we're going to have to watch the same movie apparently.
I would also like to add that I realize that not everybody has as much holiday cheer as I do. And that sometimes the holidays doesn't bring a lot of cheer and that it's a hard time. So we've got maybe some things that might help a little bit because we got your back. We
I
got you.
love it.
Okay.
Here we go, right?
Yeah, here we go. You have in here that it's National Hard Candy Day. And I added because I'm like, okay, National Hard Candy Day. It's also National Regifting Day.
Now, I would say two things. First of all, I don't think hard candy gets enough credit. I mean, it can be very hit or miss with your hard candy. So I'm here in defense of the awesomeness of hard candies, whether it's Jolly Ranchers or what have you. Delicious. So
Really?
National Hard Candy Day.
Are you going to reach for a Jolly Rancher before you reach for a Snickers bar?
It depends on my mood, Jen Pirak.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And as far as regifting day goes, how can it be regifting day before the big day? I mean, you haven't even received a lot of your gifts yet, right?
Or you've saved them from last year because you didn't use them
Is that what it is?
and you
Okay.
can start assigning them to people.
Look back over the last year. If you still got one of those gifts from last year, time to regift it today if you want.
Just
Shall
put
we
a
find out
different
about
thing
the
on it.
eggnog?
Yes, I want to know about the eggnog.
Okay. All right. Here we go. There's a poll done to find out what people plan to. Well, this is all about drinking, if you will. And I assume when they said, "Hey, what's the most popular holiday drink?" What holiday drinks are there besides eggnog? You know more about that than I do because you are a hostess with the mostest.
So many things. There's mixed cocktails, there's beer, there's wine, we're talking about only alcohol right now.
Well, no, I was going to say that's kind of unique to the holidays, though. I think eggnog is not something that you find yourself enjoying in July. So, but anyway,
I
so
don't find myself enjoying it anytime.
I would agree as well.
Oh, I know one like buttered rum.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
that's a holiday drink.
first of all, about half of Americans don't plan to drink. It says drink or smoke anything during the holidays, which is up from 42% when that question was asked 2 years ago. About half of people, yeah, I'm not going to drink or smoke anything during the holidays. Now, the people that are planning on imbibing, they said, what will you drink the most this holiday? Let's go from last to first, which is just
Okay,
the top five. All right.
tell
Number
me.
five is straight liquor, 10%.
Just
Straight
going
liquor.
for it.
Yep, here we go. Number four is mixed drinks. About 17% of people enjoy the mixed drinks. Number three, eggnog. Mm-hmm.
So number three on the list, eggnog, not number one.
Yes. But on the other hand, eggnog is not something you have 4 or 5 glasses a day of, or even three. Like you have a couple glasses of wine. Like I'm going to have my third eggnog for the day.
Okay, but wait a second. Eggnog by itself isn't alcoholic, right? You have to add alcohol to it.
That's yes.
So it's
So
a
this
non-alcoholic beverage.
right, but it's almost like drinking pancake batter. So you're like this is pretty thick.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Finally, number two on the list at 20% is wine, and number one is beer. 22% of the vote said I'm going to be drinking the most this holiday is beer. Forget about that eggnog crap, right?
Wait a second. Maybe if we add some maple syrup to the eggnog, it would be better.
Mhm. Anything would make it better other than straight eggnog. It's not horrible, but like you said, it's not my favorite. So
Okay, that's
you're in good
fine.
company if you're drinking the beer, everybody. I love this story because I
Yeah,
go to a
let's
lot of
go.
cracking games.
Oh, right. And you spend a
Yeah.
lot of US dollars if you want to have anything to eat or drink there.
Well, it's no secret, and not just cracking games. You go to Seahawks games, you go to Mariners games. You're like, okay, let me see. I'd like to have your basic, regular old run-of-the-mill beer. That'll be $16, sir. I mean, in cracking games,
$16 for a
yeah. Well,
beer.
that'd be a bottle or whatever, maybe 14, I think. So, and if you're going with your family, right, that can add up. So this is in Phoenix, where they have slashed the concession prices. They have their, following in, I guess, I don't know, does Taco Bell have the $2 menu? Some people, drive-throughs and fast food
Yeah.
places have the
The value
value menu.
menus. Value menus.
So the owner of the Phoenix Suns, is recognizing that it is a pricey endeavor to come to a Suns game for the whole family. He has slashed concessions, the prices significantly. So there is now a $2 value menu. And that means that if you want to get this value menu, it's not for everything, but it includes hot dogs. How much is a hot dog at a Mariners game? Like $9?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing.
Okay.
I haven't been to a Mariners game in a while.
At the Suns game, a hot dog is $2 now. So is a bag of chips, a popcorn, 16-ounce fountain drinks, or Dasani water, all marked down to $2, which I think is awesome.
I do too, because it's just making it a little more accessible for people to be able to, like you said, bring your family or even just
Uh,
go on a date night, for crying out loud. I mean, it is expensive to get tickets first and foremost, and then you get there and get gouged on the concessions.
well, they have the math here. It says this reduces this $2 value menu at the Suns game reduces the price of a hot dog, water, and popcorn for a family of four. Before that would have been right around $100, $98. Now it's going to be $24.
I love it.
I
I
do.
love it.
Other people could take note of that because I always thought, they say, well, you got to charge a lot for concessions in Seattle because we're paying for that brand new Climate Pledge Arena. It's like, okay, well, that indicates to me that once Climate Pledge Arena is paid for, all those concession prices and ticket prices are going to come way down,
Yeah,
correct?
right. Right. Okay, let's move
That's the
on.
right answer. Yeah, right is actually the answer on that one. So who knows?
So the Weeknd is going on tour in 2025. I did not know that.
I did not either until today. Not just on tour. He is basically. He said yesterday, the weekend. He on social media said yesterday, basically, he has a new album called "Hurry Up Tomorrow," and that was already known that that's going to be out right around January 24th. It also turns out that he said, you know what? New album, new tour, new movie, new everything coming in
A
2025.
movie?
So yeah, this you look for the tour, which he hasn't announced yet, but he says it's going to happen. And the movie is I think
Is it
it
of the tour? Is it like Taylor did with her Eras tour?
that's that I guess. I don't really know, but I'm going to assume that it's a tour movie, but who knows? Maybe he's making his debut in a rom-com with the
Oh, the
weekend.
Weeknd. You just went crazy on the music topics today, being a music lover, Curt. What's next?
Well, and another thing was just announced is Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, his daughter Violet. If you are a Foo Fighters fan, you're probably aware of her because she's been a backup singer on tour before. Violet Grohl, daughter of Dave Grohl, she's 18 and she has been working on a new album. She's going to have an album out. So look for Violet Grohl. Apparently, uh, people are saying she is phenomenal. So, I mean, good enough to obviously to be a backup singer on tour. But then if it's your dad's band, you kind of got to wonder. It's like, yeah, Violet, go sing backup, whether you are
What
worthy
kind
or
of
not.
music does she sing?
I think it's what I've heard. I'm thinking sort of Billie Eilish might be a good way to put it. She seems, or since I've not heard any of the actual music yet, this was just announced. She has covered obviously her dad's Foo Fighter songs and stuff like that. So we shall see. But people are excited about that as well. If you're a Foo Fighters fan or a Violet Grohl fan, you've got some stuff coming up here in the new year. All right.
I think these things are so funny. Like, how do they really figure out what you should do, what you should eat, what your well, the personality thing I get, but based on your zodiac sign, these are the Christmas movies you should be watching.
Right. And they have a little rationale for it as well. So it's not just hey, if you're a Taurus, watch this. They have for each of them, they have a little explanation. So
Okay.
should we just jump into it? Because there's
Yeah.
12 zodiac signs. All right. Aries, you should be watching A Christmas Story. It says it checks all the boxes for Aries with a storyline that leverages triple dog dares, obsession, poor impulse control, and tacky lamps. I did not know that those were the signs of an Aries.
Okay, Taurus, you should be watching the classic 1947 version of Miracle on 34th Street.
Hmm.
Taurus folks make for natural skeptics.
Oh, okay.
Bulls will approve of this movie, a meditation on capitalism, the burden of proof, and the beauty of believing.
Okay. We might have to cut the explanations, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, if you want to look into this more, we'll just tell you that Gemini says that you should be watching the Santa Clauses, and actually, this is not. This is a TV series on Disney Plus. It's a continuation of the Tim Allen movie. So, Gemini, get on Disney Plus and watch the Santa Clauses.
Oh, Cancer, I'm sorry. You have to watch Lindsay Lohan's Netflix movie Falling for Christmas. Here's the thing that, like Curt was saying, you can go to New York Post and find out why they say this about you.
Right. Leos, you need to watch the Freddie Prinze Jr. Netflix movie Christmas with You. And here's Virgo. This is ours, Jen. We are to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay, I'd like
A
it.
classic. I will explain this. Virgo thrives on being underestimated, and no story encapsulates the spirit of the underdog or underdeer like Rudolph.
Oh,
Oh,
that's nice. Libra luckies, you get to watch Elf, and
hmm.
Scorpio, you're supposed to be watching Spirited. It's
Did
the
you see that
Christmas
yet?
Carol. It's the Christmas Carol adaptation starring Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. I feel like I have seen that. Yeah.
I think it just came out last year, 2 years ago. It was a fun one. Sagittarius, you get to watch a Netflix movie called A Boy Called Christmas. And Capricorn, here's the real lucky ones. Capricorns, it says your movie for Christmas is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Aquarius, Home Alone, and finally Pisces. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want to find out the rationale behind all that again? Was you say it was New York Times?
New York. I think it was the
Post?
Post. New York Post. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. There you go.
Okay. What in the actual you know
F.
what on this story? Because I seriously thought the bald eagle was our national bird.
A lot of people thought that, myself included. Um, if you said, yeah, somebody said to you, hey, name the national bird of America, you'd say bald eagle. Well, guess what? You're both right and wrong because we do think it's the bald eagle. Of course, it's on our currency and the presidential seal, but it's only been the unofficial bird up until now.
What?
I guess it didn't go through the process of becoming official. So the House passed a bill this week to make the bald eagle the official bird of the United States. The Senate already voted for it, and now President Biden has to sign off on it, and there you go. This all started because this is kind of funny, a bald eagle enthusiast from Minnesota, a 78-year-old Preston Cook has been collecting bald eagle memorabilia over 50 years. He amassed more than 40,000 eagle-related items,
Wow.
and he donated them to the National Eagle Center Museum in Wabasha. I guess that is right there in Minnesota. And he realized in 2010 that Congress had never passed true legislation to make it official. So he started lobbying politicians, say, hey, you know what? We have to have the official national bird.
Okay. Can
Please.
we just hold right there? He started this process 14 years ago.
That's
It took
correct.
14 years for what everybody thought was the national or the national bird already to
Right.
make that happen. That is ridiculous and a testament to our political process that I am embarrassed about.
Well, this is interesting too, because you can thank Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar that says she introduced the bill this June. So that means from 2010 until this June, it wasn't even being considered, right?
That is
The bill wasn't even introduced until earlier this year.
well, you know what, dude? Thanks for doing that for us and making it
Uh,
official, making something we all already thought was a thing, an official thing.
so it takes time to get things done in Washington or Minnesota, as the case may be, I guess. Are you doing some kind of samba salsa
I
dance
don't
for
know,
them?
but it just feels like this needs to be, this is dancing music.
I would
Um,
agree.
so gift debates, gifts from bosses and gift limits if kids have too many.
I didn't know there was such a thing as gift debates, but here we go. You can weigh in on this, it says, either to yourself or you can let us know. Here's the poll. 20% of people say they expect to get a gift from their boss this year. And employees, workers say the best gift that they could get from the boss is, guess what?
Cash.
US dollars or whatever country you're in.
Cash is always
Dollars.
king. Yeah, US dollars I like. Yes.
Like a bonus. The second most popular answer is if you can't get cash as a holiday gift, extra paid time off, followed by a gift certificate to a store or restaurant, and a physical present, such as a tech gadget or item of clothing. Yeah, you
Least,
know, the item of clothing we would always get is, hey, here's Christmas. Here's a Star 101.5 t-shirt. Enjoy.
well, okay. The least popular option is an invitation to a holiday party.
Oh my God. That's kind of sad and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
All
In a
right.
survey on toys,
Mhm.
over half, about 54% of Americans say kids have too many toys. Now, before opening this year's presents. Oh,
That's
now
what they say
before
now.
so
They have
now
too many
before
toys
so
already.
and now we're gonna have them open more presents. So the older folks most likely say that 22% of kids have about the right amount of toys, and 7% say they have too few toys.
Jim Pirak, since you have a youngin, would you say that Macy has too many toys? She's not young. What is she? She's 15?
She's 15, so toys no, her toys are just way more expensive now because she
Right.
likes the electronic stuff.
Well, here we have the 15% of adults say that that this is us. 15% of adults say they have too many gifts growing up, too many toys, rather, not gifts. And then about 60% said they had just the right number of toys. And then 20% said that they had not enough toys. I would
That's
say that I had the right number of toys,
me too. Me
you
too.
know, hindsight being 2020 and all. So you can discuss that amongst yourselves if you feel like it. I like this. 75% of adults say it's cool for parents to tell family members to limit the number of toys they buy for their kids.
Hmm. Okay.
Would you take that advice if somebody said, hey, you need to chill on the gift giving there, the toys?
I mean, if they have too many toys, maybe, yeah. I mean, I always am a big fan of like, for uh Pat's granddaughter, that
Mhm.
his new granddaughter, she's newborn, right? And she already has so many clothes and blankets and all the things. We got her, he got her, I should say, a savings bond.
Great. See, there
Yeah,
you go. Not something she can play with right now, but give a few years and she'll be playing with that
right.
saving all the time, I guess. Hmm.
This blows my mind. I'm gonna go through this, Kurt.
Please.
How many hours did the average person spend searching for something to watch this year? So this is not actual watch time of a show, just how much time you spent searching for what to watch.
Right.
The answer is the average American spent 110 hours searching for stuff to watch in 2024. So that equates to 4.5 days worth of your year scrolling through Netflix. That's about 1% of all of your time in 1 year.
I would say they need to get faster Wi-Fi then. Because you've done that. You're sitting there, okay, you get into Netflix and you spend a minute waiting for it to go. I know that's not what they're talking about. I know.
It isn't, but here's the thing. 1 in 5 people think it's harder to find something to watch today than it was 10 years ago, even though there's a crap ton more content. Like there are so many choices, and maybe
Hmm.
that's the problem, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many choices. It's like your brain's overloaded on like, what do I really feel like when 10 years ago it was like you don't have very many choices, so you just pop something on the TV.
And you think back even beyond that, before that. So let's go back to before our day when they only had basically three channels. You had CBS, ABC, and NBC, and maybe that UHF channel that didn't come in very well. And you had
Yeah.
to physically get up and walk over to the TV and turn the channel if you wanted to. Man, those were the dark days. And then cable comes along, and I think at first there was like cable was like 45 channels or something like that. And even then, it's like, man, there's so much to pick from. How can I choose just one? So
The most common complaint was streaming services are loaded with too much old stuff that you have to sift through. And 1 in 4 also think there's too much original content being produced. So people just can't even decide what it is that's giving them the struggle. But maybe I don't even know what to do about this. Maybe one of these times for the question of the day. It's not going to be today. We'll do
Yeah.
it because did we do this before? I feel like maybe we did. What you should watch. What are your suggestions?
Oh, I don't know that we did or not, but that's a great one
I'm going to write that down for later.
for another time.
Be
Okay,
thinking
I
of that
will.
because that'll come up on the Curt and Jen podcast question of the day.
Absolutely. Hmm. What do you typically put on top of your Christmas tree? This could have been a
Here's why I put this in here, Kurt Cruz, because
What's
there was
that?
a poll that was on, I think it was on Reddit. And so
Okay,
they asked, what do you put on top of your Christmas tree? Now, yes, there's the typical, we put a star or we have an angel. That is a majority of people, almost half of people, 45% of people say we have some kind of star on top of our tree, and 21% say an angel. So those are like considered the conventional tree toppers, right?
sure, sure.
It's the something else that people are putting on top of their tree that's worthy of just mentioning.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
looking at the list now for the first time, so I'll let you go with this, and then
Okay.
you'll see my
So
actual in real time reaction.
these ones are not the first two are not that unusual. I don't think a bow on top of your
Right,
Christmas tree, a snowflake, which is what I have on top of. I don't know for people watching, you can barely
right.
see it, but
I
there
think
is
that
a
we have a.
snowflake.
Let me see. We have a star on top of one, and then the other one we have. I don't even know what it is. It just looks like streamers coming out or something. I'm not quite sure how, but it looks nice. That's what we have.
Okay.
Please
So a
continue.
bow and a snowflake, 1 and 2. Number 3, Rudolph head. What?
So
Okay.
a severed head.
Number 4, I like this. Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus hat. So a
Okay.
Santa hat. Our last name initial. That's nice.
Okay.
Okay, then I was like, okay, number 6, cut up toilet paper rolls covered in glitter, which I'm guessing
Crafty.
was a child, like, so their children did some kind of craft project
They
or
brought it home
something.
from first grade. Teacher
Uh,
said we should do this.
a turkey puppet.
All right.
Another one said baby Jesus, which I was like on board with. Just, I'm Christian. I'm like, okay, baby Jesus on top of the tree. All right, I guess. But it not just any baby Jesus, it was an alien baby Jesus with a star above that's a UFO.
That's a sci-fi fan right there, probably.
Yoda from Star Wars dressed as Santa. I mean,
Okay.
that's perfect for a Star Wars fan. And then what is this? The
The
Eye
Eye
of,
of Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
That's creepy. If you know any of the Lord of the Rings things, that's the eye that's always watching you, no matter where you are, watching everything all the time.
Well,
Well, that's like Santa Claus, I guess.
oh yeah, right. Yes, always
Santa
watching.
Claus is the Eye of Sauron. That's pretty bad. This is fun, Jen. I'm glad you found this.
What abbreviation did you think meant something else?
I'm trying to think if I ever had any. In
Okay.
this day and age, of course, you see somebody puts in their text or whatever. It's like, oh, FBFLS. Like, okay, I better go look up what FBFLS is, which,
Right.
as far as I know, is
Right.
nothing. So
Uh,
this is what they're saying. These are abbreviations that you thought meant something else.
well, here's the thing. Like, if a medical professional writes SOB in your medical file, it doesn't mean you're a total jerk. Because, a son of a bee scratch is what
Right.
most people would think.
It means shortness of breath. So
Right.
go to your doctor and it says Curt Cruz, SOB. It's like, oh man.
What?
Oh, I probably qualify for both definitions of that abbreviation.
Okay, so someone said that they thought that SMH meant
Mm-hmm.
so much hate. Someone else added, I thought it meant smacking my head, which I think is what it means, like the face palm.
Shaking my head, shaking. I think it's the same. It's the
Oh
same sort of
yeah,
response. Like somebody says something dorky, you're like, oh, could be a face. It could be a face palm or just shaking my head. That's SMH, I believe.
shaking my head is what it really means. Okay, so there's mine. I thought it was smacking my head.
But maybe it is. I could be wrong, but
No,
they could
you're
both
right.
be
Shaking my
okay.
head is it.
This has become popular relatively recently, last 4 or 5 years or so. IYKYK, which is even hard for me to say. IYKYK. People they said I thought IYKYK was people just making that sound out loud, which is of course it's if you know you know, if you didn't know, if you know you know. All right, and then somebody thought that ID, of course, and I was wrong about this too. I always knew ID meant identification,
I
but
thought
this
so too. This is where I learned something today.
well no well yes you're right. This person thought that the I stood for I, like me, and the D stood for identification.
Me too. I
Like
thought
this is
so too.
my identification, but apparently it actually stands for identity document.
Yeah, there's no apparently about it. It just stands for that.
When they asked for your ID, I thought it was, yeah, identification. Identity document. What about OG? What's that one?
Well, um, what I read about this, somebody thought it was just the it just meant original.
Well, there's an
OG,
O and a G in
original,
original.
but
Okay,
really it's original gangster.
that's right.
The OG, you're the OG, you're the original gangster.
Well, this person works in mortgages, and they said, I've labeled original loan term documents as OG terms and gave them to the director. And they're like, so this is original gangsta terms? I don't know if I want to sign off on that or not.
FTW for the win.
Right.
Someone thought it stood for F the world.
I could see that. POS. All
Piece
right,
of
we all know
crap.
it. Yeah,
Well,
but
I
it's
mean, really, it's the S word.
but it's the S
POS.
and not crap. But this person said, well, if you've done enough business, it's point of sale.
Yep,
So, and you in marketing know, okay,
I do
what's the
know that.
POS? What's the POS going to be? Uh,
Curt Cruz.
hmm.
I'm just kidding.
Again, thank you. When I was a kid, this person says, I thought STFU meant stuff you, kind of like, stuff it or get stuffed, which is a way to say, I don't know, shut up or you're full of it. But it's
Oh, but it really means shut the F up, right?
yes.
Okay.
All right.
EST. I thought EST after a time was short for estimated. So that I thought so too.
Well, it might be, but it's also Eastern Standard Time in all caps like
Oh,
that.
and time. Okay, got it, got it,
So,
got
so
it.
I wonder if they're looking at a TV. It's like, okay, I want to watch the game. It's like, well, it's on at 4 o'clock EST, so estimated around 4 o'clock is when the game's
About
going to
four
start.
o'clock, we might start this.
All right. AI. When I was growing up, this person says it meant artificial insemination because they were breeding cows, and that probably is what it meant.
And now AI is all over the place.
And it's not artificial insemination,
It's
except in
artificial
very few
intelligence.
cases, I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Okay,
Yeah,
and BRB, I knew this. I knew BRB was be right back, but someone thought it
right.
was bathroom break.
Which also could apply. You're like, BRB.
BRB, bathroom break.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
like it.
I thought it was, mildly entertaining.
It was totally entertaining. I liked it very much. Jen Pierre, this is right up your alley, and I love to put this in here because it's important. It's important for people that may
Yeah.
not be having the best holiday season.
And you know what? I mean, I love Christmas so much, but there are I will be a little vulnerable here when I get to one of these things and say I'm suffering from a little bit of this. So
Hmm.
if the title of the article, and you can read the whole thing, I think it was on AP News.
Okay.
Are you catching holiday blues instead of holiday cheer? Here are some ways to find peace. I'm just going to go through the list, but you can read more about it. If family time isn't fun for you, set boundaries for yourself. Just say, I'm going to only call them instead of actually spend physical time with them, or I'm going to go for an hour and then I'm going to leave. It's okay to set the boundaries, right? You don't
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
have to see them if you don't want to. If they bring you that much grief, get out.
Yep.
If you're lonely or grieving, like this is a time when it really hits people who have lost someone, especially if they've lost someone this past year and this is their, one of their firsts, right? Without them.
Right.
Connect with others. Like that is so important. It might seem like, "Oh, I want to be in the presence of others," but if you're feeling lonely or your heart is hurting, a good friend, even if they just sit with you, will help. I promise you that.
And let me jump in
Um,
here real quick when you're talking about grieving, because my wife Dana works with Soaring Spirits, which is people don't like to talk about this either, but it's about widows and widowers and going through that whole process and how challenging it can be. And a lot of the options when you lose a spouse, they say, hey, you go talk to these people. And it's people that they might be very much older than you. So there is definitely, if you're grieving, find somebody else, connect somehow, please. That's very important. Don't just try to take it on yourself.
Yeah, this is mine. If money is making you anxious, reach out. I mean, Curt, since we lost our jobs, it's not,
Mhm.
things are not the same. And I love giving gifts. I love to show my love through, verbal affirmations and gifts. And it's hard to dial back. And so
Yep.
anyway, there's anxiety around that. Anyway, there's help out there. You can reach out. There's, financial planners there's services for free. And if anything's making you so anxious that you feel like it's just too heavy, there's resources out there. Talk to
Right.
someone.
And we're saying a lot of big part of this is please get beyond feeling embarrassed or ashamed, because everybody needs a little help every now and again. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with looking for assistance, or, both Jen and I are big proponents of therapy. And
Yep.
so, that's there's
I
one more
went
you have on here, which I
yesterday.
also think is good. Yeah.
And then finally, if you're overwhelmed, which is so easy during this time of year, I've got to buy the presents and the house has to be perfectly decorated and I got to make the cookies and I got to plan the dinner and blah, blah, blah. Just try to step back and set some realistic expectations for yourself, so that you
Fantastic.
can hopefully try to find some joy in the season. So
I'm glad
I,
you shared that. That was really great, Jen. Very, very good. Thank you for that.
yes.
Into some dubstep music. Okay, here we go. This is along the same lines. This is a bit of a warm, fuzzy, feel-good thing, and I love it. Getting a thank you from your teenager, right? Your teenager can heal your soul, it says. Please share some more about this as well, Jen.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It is rare that teenagers will show you the love that ultimately they feel for you. They do.
Mhm.
But it's hard when they don't show any of it and they're just kind of snotty. And
Right.
so there was a study at the University of Illinois found that kids saying thank you can be incredibly important to your family dynamic. It makes parenting feel less stressful and not like such a thankless job, like a simple thank you. Um,
Well, that's what they actually, in this research paper is literally called a thank you would be really be nice. A thank you would really be nice, addressing this. And it's not just about kids. Thanking your partner is important too. And also certainly can help to improve your relationship.
Yes. The study found that there's only one thank you that can actually improve a parent's mental overall health, and that is getting a thank you from your teenage child.
Yeah.
A thanks from a 10-year-old is great, but a thank you from your teenager who it gets tougher and tougher to get anything from them, anything positive from them. It just
Right.
means more. So, a message to all the teenagers who might be listening, even
Hmm.
though you're angsty and upset about all the things, thank your parents because
It turns out,
it does a
yeah, I was going to
world
say,
of healing for them.
it turns out that your folks aren't actually out to get you and wreck your life. They're a partner. They're an ally. So, and I think that that's, and I was probably guilty of that too when I was 14, 15, 16 and trying to find, whatever your identity or whatever you're looking for. And I'm sitting there playing guitar all day, and my parents are like, you need to study. It's like, I don't need to study. I'm going to be a rock star. Well,
I
that didn't
think
work out.
I think that the funny thing about this, not the funny thing, the interesting thing about this study is that it says, teenagers, if you can only muster up the ability to thank one person, which it's so easy to say thank you, make it to your mom because the study found that gratitude has an even bigger impact for mothers because their contributions tend to be overlooked a bit more.
I
So
agree, and that's a sad, sad thing that moms are underappreciated. Well, you know what? I know for a fact that both of your daughters appreciate you, Jen.
But see, here's the thing. So I'm just gonna say this. We know that gratitude helps heal the soul no matter what, right?
Hmm.
Just expressing gratitude and making sure that you're taking a moment to, realize all the things around you that you should be grateful for, that you can be grateful for. Um, Even though I know my daughters love me, when Macy does say thank you, like a sincere thank you, it is like melting, like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
thanks, loves.
Are you trying to say that the thank you doesn't count?
Yeah,
Thanks,
right?
Mom.
So that leads us to our question of the day because I
It will
thought
be the
this
third
might be
question
good.
of the day. I love this one too.
Excuse me, what kinds of things do your kids do or something they've done in the past maybe that heals your soul? That's
Hmm.
like, I'll give you an example for me when when unprompted, because I'll always tell my girls that I love them, and they'll usually give an I love you back. But
Hmm.
when they initiate the hey mom, I love you so much, and they give me a hug that's unprompted, because you know me and hugs, Kurt. Like
Oh, I
my
do.
daughter Macy, because she's a teenager, is like maybe a half hug. But when she gives me like a real hug that I'm not initiating and she is, that's the best thing ever.
Yes, and you know what? It's that's good. Good we did that. You did that story as well, because I don't know if young people are aware of what that can do. They hear, oh yeah, hugs are good, da, da, da. But I mean, it really makes a world of difference, especially with your mom. So, the question of the day for tomorrow is, what kind of things do your kids do, or something that they have done that helps heal your soul? Yeah.
We want your stories, please. I'll post it on Facebook later this evening. You can comment on whatever platform you're watching
Hmm.
or listening to. And but also, like I said, you can just go online at Kurt and Jen in the morning on Facebook. If you don't already follow us, please do. And for the podcast, if you can like, follow, subscribe, any of the things to interact with us, that helps us so much.
Absolutely. And as always, we appreciate you listening. We're here every weekday for you. And well, for us as well, because you know what? It heals us as well, doesn't it, Jen, doing this
Yes, it
podcast?
does.
There you go.
Have an awesome day. Make good choices, find joy, and spread kindness.